We're back. All right. Sorry, guys. We little issues going on over there, and we'll get it going there.
Yep.
But
better feed this way.
So, guys, if you're watching,
welcome in, Robin.
Later on, if you're live here, later on, go over to Tony's channel. The beginning part of the world of randomness for tonight. We switched over to my channel so we can get more stable connection, I guess, if you want to say. I don't know. But yeah, we're back live. Sorry for the hiccup. We apologize.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking Transformers, mostly old toys. We started the night with Batman.
Welcome in, Dean.
Dean, what is going on? Thank you for joining us here tonight. So yeah,
before we go any further, Dean is the reason why the majority of us are here every week and we get the support we get. Thank you very much, Dean.
So that music, right, Jonathan? Nailed the openings, right, Tony? How do you feel about that opening, Tony?
Yes. Oh, I love that opening.
Get you going, right?
Makes me feel like I'm back at the Stone Pony.
I think we need to play it again for people just joining us, like at some point, you know.
You know what?
You know what we do, Tony? I think maybe once an hour, we need to put that on. The once an hour, just remind people where they are. Get us pumped up again.
Just to kick it up. There
like
we
that.
go. Yeah. That's, you know, it definitely, you know, people really do not realize how much great music is out there on YouTube to use and on many platforms.
Free.
That's just give them the credit they deserve and they're more than happy to let you use it. You know, it's
exactly. And that's where that came from. Both the with the title with our mine and your logo and that came from the free YouTube site.
Yeah,
I use it all the time.
Well, you know, when we were talking about music to put in, I mean, I sent you several links. I don't know if you listened to them or not, but those come right from the YouTube.
I did, and I knew where we were going with it. Tony, once you said Slipknot, I was like, "Yep, I know where we're going. I know what to look for."
Yep. And, you know, it's not everybody's music, but, you know, there's just something about, you know, what you're getting from me and Danny. We are who we are. And you could tell that we both like our music. We love everything we do, but music is definitely in both of our blood. So that music means a lot when it comes on. We're ready to go when we hear
metal lifestyle. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So it works.
So getting back to G.I. Joes and getting the rubber band back on the poor little guy as he's sitting there. Yeah.
It really was.
You know, you get that rubber band back on and he looks like he broke a hip. And you put him in the back of the car and you push that car and he just flops around.
It was sad.
It looks like Drop Dead Fred on a bender.
Oh, what about Drop Dead Fred? Did you see what we got?
I know where you're going to go with this. Yeah.
Did you see the because it was what we got at the con? They're actual album covers. We're gonna put it up on the wall here behind us, and it's the cover. Like it's the album to Drop Dead Fred up, and it came with the front, and then the reverse side is a separate photo too. So yeah, we definitely like that.
Yeah. Now, were you ever a fan of Nirvana at all?
Yes.
Okay, they put out a very rare double album, an actual vinyl album. It was called From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah, and it was all live stuff. It must have been from some live concert they did. My oldest son, he has that, and it's up in an album frame in his room, and it's you know, just growing up listening to the music that I listen to. You know, your kids tend to like the music you like, and that's, I mean. We let him have that. It's up in his room. And I was told once that thing might be worth money, but problem is albums, especially now that they're making a comeback, the value of an album is going down daily. Because people are finding out that, you know, if you get a good record player, something made now with everything they put into it, the sound you get out of an album is so much richer and deeper than you can get playing a song digitally.
Right.
And just the process of pressing an album. Did you lose a light, Danny?
Did I lose? No, I didn't lose the light.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got kind of dark there for a minute.
I was looking at something else on a screen here.
Oh, okay.
It's a loading screen. Sorry.
Yep. G.I. Joe was the original Wounded Warrior project. I mean, he really was. I mean, because how many G.I. Joes did you have that had all their pieces? You have no idea how many of them I had. I had a lot of them. I would take it off up at the elbow because they got their arm blown off. Yeah. So then after the battle was over, what do?
Well, what do you mean had their pieces? Like they're like you're talking about their or are you talking about like their weapons?
Oh no, I'm talking about like I would like remove like one of their arms because it got blown off in a Oh yeah, exactly. It's like after the battle, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, like I remember I had a couple of GI Joes that kind of lost, kind of made them drag themselves along on the floor and start going after Cobra, and I mean, also had the Green Army men fighting GI Joe at times too. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. And they
you gotta have the little Green Army man.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what's up, Max? Welcome in.
What's up, Max? The Ghostbusters came in every once in a while too with the turtles and stuff. So I mean,
well, I can tell you, I never had the Ghostbusters come in to help the GI Joes.
But
I know that a lot of my sister's My Little Ponies were lost innocently in some of the battles. My sister was never happy.
Used to ride into battle, yeah.
Oh no! They were sacrificed. I would test my nieces on them. And their heads would pop off, and my sister would cry, "Mom!"
Oh yeah, like I told you, like my Tonka trucks, and I had dump truck. I had a Tonka front loader also, like that used to do the swivel with it. It used to be like the bigger earth mover, and then a Tonka fire truck. But after a while, the Tonka fire truck actually used to spray water. But the ladder. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So in the front of it, where the ladder used to sit, there used to be like this little box in the front of like where the ladder was. Whole like flatbed in the back. So I'm like, oh, cool. They could sit on this and have their guns facing out, and so the fire truck became of war then too. So here come the GI Joes in the dump truck with whoever else was in there, and all the other vehicles coming in and coming in with the Ecto-1, and
I remember as a kid. Now, mind you, I'm a child. I'm a kid of the 70s. I was born in 74. And playing as a little one at my grandparents' apartment, And I remember my grandmother had bought me a Tonka truck. I mean, I had the big dump truck. I mean, this thing was massive. I mean, they used to make these things huge. And I mean, this thing weighed as much as I did. And I had a cement mixer. I mean, of all things, a cement mixer. But I mean, this thing was massive.
That.
I wish I had it now.
Awesome. That would have been awesome because that would have been like, you know, the Trojan horse.
Yeah. Welcome in, Danny's mom.
Yeah.
She's asking if
my
you
mother's
remember
like,
all
wow,
that.
you remember that? Heck yeah, I remember that. Like, you can ask the living room. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment for a while when I was doing this. And the living room used to be like a whole war zone. Things up on shelves and things like that. It was crazy. Crazy.
You know, I mean, that literally sounds like my childhood growing up. My parents would go
hey, Ben,
nuts.
what's up, buddy?
Ben, welcome in. But, you know,
well, you can ask my mother. We used to go down to my grandparents' house, and we used to just dig holes and stuff in the backyard. And they with the army men and the G.I. Joe and everything else out there. Just, you know, yeah.
Now it's funny because, you know, around where I live, there's a lot of houses. I mean, most houses here have basements, but a lot of them have half basements, which I don't know if you're familiar with an unfinished basement, you know, partial dirt basement. Yep. Okay. Yep. You know, you got part of the basement's got a concrete floor and the rest is just where they didn't finish digging it out. They were just like, we're tired. We're not digging anymore. So we would get down and China.
Well, that's what we used to do is, you know, digging.
Yeah. Well, we would go down into the basement of friends' houses that had half, you know, partial dirt basements. And we go back in the area where the dirt was. And I mean, we would dig into there and our G.I. Joes would bunker in and taking on Cobra and all that. And we would literally, we would dig in there hoping to find gold or coal or whatever we wanted to find. I mean, we got in trouble so many times because, you know, they would have posts drove through this dirt to support the house. We'd be digging around that so we could get down in there. We'd be getting called up by parents, getting yelled at. The house is going to fall in on you. We didn't care. If we died down there, we would have been martyrs. We'd have been martyrs for the cause of saving the world from Cobra taking over. Please.
Cobra had a bad tendency to try to take over a lot of places, man. I'll tell you right now.
I know. You know, and speaking of subscribe to Phantasmic Chronicles, I'm 11 away from reaching 200.
There you go.
I sat forever just begging for someone to subscribe, and it just seems like every day it's a couple more and a couple more. And
see, I told you, we get you there, man. We're good. Don't worry. Once you start making those Cedar Point videos too, you're gonna get a coming your way too. So, but to start with, I know, like this, you're good. You're good.
Counting down the days for that. I still haven't decided if I'm going opening day or not. That is going to be that's Cedar Point. I've been there once on opening day, and it's always crazy. But with all these gold passes that sold this year, it's going to be even worse.
And not even that, it's just the 100th anniversary.
Yeah. It's hard to even imagine someone that grew up with Cedar Point, but 150 years that this place has been around. Now, mind you, they didn't always have the roller coasters, but, you know, if you go back and look at the history of Cedar Point, you know, they had roller coasters back in the 1800s. They had a roller coaster before the turn of the century. This thing did not even have any type of safety equipment. It didn't have any seat belts. It didn't have any lap bars. It just had the person up front had a handbrake. They used to give to brake it, you know, and it was someone riding the ride. It wasn't a ride operator, but they pulled the handle to brake it when it got to the when it got to the other side.
Beautiful.
Yes. Welcome back, Noah.
That's for you.
Well, thank you.
Telling you, man. You're doing good things, Tony. Don't worry. You got it.
Well,
but
as
far as
so.
old roller coasters, yeah, man, I seen pictures of that, and I was like, "What is this?" No.
I mean, they had one roller coaster, and I'm trying to remember. There was Dip the Dips, I think, was the first roller coaster. Or, yeah, Dip the Dips was the first roller coaster. It was basically they pushed the cart up down the hill. It went over a couple little whoop-de-doos, and it went back. Yeah. Then they had something else. I cannot remember the name of it. But then the third coaster they put out was one of their longest surviving coasters up until they built some of the modern day coasters. But not only did you have people coming off there with bumps and bruises, but people with broken bones, people being taken to the hospital, and they could not get people to slow down riding this ride. So,
I'm going to get hurt. Yeah, I would.
But then again, they're at a time when something like this is brand new. Now when we talk about a roller coaster, there's not very many people that will tell you they've never ridden a roller coaster, whether they like them or not. My wife will sit here and be in the chat. She's scared to death of them, but she's been on a lot of them.
Exactly.
Back then, somebody coming from Cedar Point was like,
roller coaster. A kiddie coaster, something. You've been on something.
Yep. I rode this thing that was like a train, but it went around and around and went like 25 miles an hour. Can you imagine going that fast? And, think about it. There was really no safety equipment. You were being slammed around in it. I mean, there was nothing really to hold you back. And I mean, it would just literally whip people from side to side in this thing. Matter of fact, Defunct Land has a great documentary on the roller coasters of Cedar Point, the old roller coaster. I think it was Defunct Land that had it. There's also a documentary out there that I just watched recently. It was made probably around the time, probably a couple years ago, I would guess. But it was basically talking about everything that was going on at the parks and the history of it and how they grew through all these roller coasters.
It sounds like something the Funkland would do because they're pretty awesome like that.
Yeah,
they're pretty awesome. They're an awesome channel. He does good stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, what I would like to do is, we were talking about it when we first started. I would like to get over to Hershey Park. Hershey Park, I never really looked into.
Have you been there?
No. My wife has been there, but I'll tell you what, I've never even taken the time to look at the park itself. But the video I watched the other day that really got me thinking about it. Road Trip Dave just put out a video on his tour of the Welcome Center and making the chocolate bar and everything. And it was really, and he does a great job of the way he presents videos anyway. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find more things on the park. So I just went online and started searching it. And that's how I came across the new coaster, which I love the name of it. I mean, for a park dedicated to Hershey's chocolate, the name of this roller coaster, for those that you have not seen yet, it's called Candemonium. Now, we'd originally thought it was going to be a Giga coaster. I found out looking at it today, it's like,
basically.
Yeah, it's 215 feet. I mean, which is really nothing to sneeze at. 215 feet's a good height.
It is. Now,
if that doesn't get you going 200 some feet, then you just well, Zool, they got plenty of it at Hershey. Hey, and if you're new here, Zool, I seen you in the chat with Jess the other night. If you have not subscribed yet to them or me, please do so and like this stream.
Yeah, man, if you can, 100%.
You're going to enjoy this channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy
Jonathan,
this
yeah,
show.
Road Trip Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't watch him very much until about a year ago. And I got turned on to him. They did a Resort TV One did a raid of his live stream one night, which when you get Resort TV One that raids your live stream, you know you got people coming. And to see his enthusiasm when people were coming in, and he went from when I went right over and there's like 30 people in there, then all of a sudden he's got a couple hundred people, and he doesn't miss anybody in the chat. I was like, yep, this is a guy that I'm going to support. And I always have. And that video and South of the Border are two of the greatest videos I've ever watched.
Video was hilarious.
Yeah. I laughed so hard I almost peed my pants. When he talks about wanting to ride the great sombrero, and he goes, but alas, it's closed. No. I laughed so hard throughout that whole video.
And when he went around the hotel, he's like, oh, this wonderful establishment that they have here. And oh my gosh.
This exquisitely decorated pool.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him to come over here to Six Flags.
Yeah, Jonathan's exactly right. You cannot sneak into his chat. If you type anything in, he makes sure that you know that he has seen you, and he appreciates that you've been in there.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And you know, I have major enjoyment when we do these streams. I enjoy myself. I have a great time. I don't know how he puts that much enjoyment into what he does, but he does, and it's definitely genuine. And he loves every minute that he's in there.
Fun. If you're not having fun at what you're doing, it's pointless.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Honestly, look at when Jess and I go out and make a video. If I'm not having fun, what's the point of me going out? Because look, I'm taking you along to places that are fun, you know, and I'm not putting a negative twist on anything because there's enough people that put negative. So like, I can go to like with us at Six Flags. Have you ever heard me say anything negative about Six Flags? Because you know, realistically, anywhere, and you can find that one thing. Well, this was horrible. I can be like, oh, this burger was bad today, or blah blah. You know, whatever. I'm not saying that.
Well, you're upset they didn't have a dessert one day at the end of the year. Wasn't there a cheesecake or something they didn't have?
Right. The fried cheesecake, they didn't have it on the media day. But we said, okay, well, Six Flags, you didn't have this, but we can't wait to try it when we get back to the park next time.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I will give you guys.
Six Flags, you're horrible for not having this or this. No. We're never coming back because you didn't have cheesecake.
And you know, you've heard people that do videos, and that's what they look for, is that one thing. You know, I tend to look at a lot of people and the way they do things, and I don't want to mimic anybody, or I don't want to copy anybody's angles or anything like that of how they film, but I want to take and look at what they do, and I want to put a little. What's that?
I said you can copy mine. It's fine. I'm honored if you did that.
But I want to look at what everybody does, because everybody's got their own way of doing things. Nobody does it the right way. Nobody does it the wrong way. Everybody's got their own way.
Nope.
But there's nothing wrong with seeing, like if you can take a little bit of the way you and Jess look at things, just the fun aspect of everything. You look for the fun in everything. a little bit of the way Trip Dave looks at things, you know, the excitement and everything, and add a little bit of that flavor of what Adam the Woo brings and Super Enthused. When you can look at all that and you can find your own way when you're doing it, you're going to find the right way for you.
I really think, Dave, if you're watching this, Dave, I'm serious right now. If you're watching this, and I really think, Tony, that if Dave and I were at those, our two channels would just blow up crazy by doing a collab together. Because Dave, in the same way that we do things, he looks at things in a fun way. I can give it energy, but I mean, Jess and I are more goofy. Dave is a ball and bouncing all over the place. And so with those two things in a video, I think a Six Flags Over Georgia Dave would be awesome to do that. And I'm pretty sure he'll find the humor.
Dave could find the humor and enjoyment of dropping his hot dog on the ground, and he could turn it into something great. And I mean that, Dave. I won't say if, when you see this.
Exactly. Find the humor of it. Well, I'll be trying to chase it down the hill. Like, no, come back. You know?
Now, I'll just be standing back here going, I'll just go order another hot dog.
I'm like, I got it. I got the hot dog. Rock and Robin, thank you for that. Like, honestly, that's actually really a compliment for it. And you know, like, it's compliments for a YouTuber to get, like, with Ben saying that about us, and then this, like, that's what we want. That's 100% what we want, and I'm glad that we're portraying to the world, because there's enough negative out here on this YouTube thing. There's this thing we call YouTube, and people want to fight with people. Oh, and this about me. I don't like this one. This, and why is this one doing this when I'm trying to do that? Like, just nobody's controlling your. Like, Tony and me don't need to do this together, but we choose to.
Yeah,
we're having fun, and if we weren't having fun, we
would not do it. No. And we're both honest enough to say it, where, you know, there are people that you can tell just stick together because they feel they have to.
And once again, that.
Yeah, as we started off talking about Tonka trucks, then the G.I. Joe, the original Wounded Warrior project, and now we're,
let's be honest, we started off on your channel. So we started on your talking about Batman, and then we got into Lego Dimensions and video games and summers and the joke.
Happy Meal toys
everywhere. Happy Meal toys, yeah, exactly. So really, He-Man. Now we can talk about He-Man. Like, seriously, because that was my thing. You know, by the power of
I'll hang out and listen, but He-Man was never my thing.
Why?
I don't know. I just never really got into He-Man. I don't know. I mean, the man ran around in a pair of underoos and rode a prehistoric dinosaur.
So what? But yet you like
it. Just wasn't my thing. Well,
you like wrestling. Okay.
Well, yeah. What's wrong with a finally?
They're underoos on.
Don't judge me for watching a bunch of chiseled men in underwear.
But you wouldn't watch He-Man then.
I never got into He-Man.
Hey, Shelly, what's going on? Thanks for coming in tonight.
Shelly, what's going on? Yeah, you walked in right at the right time, Shelly. Danny's talking about his enjoyment of playing with men in underwear.
Yep.
And Skeletor, who ran around in underwear wearing a sleeveless hoodie. I'm just saying.
With the little Red Robin Hood purple cape.
Yeah. I mean, She-Ra was the best dressed of all of them.
Oh, man.
Speaking of something, and let's go back to toys for just a minute before we get on He-Man. You remember
always
Voltron?
Go back to toys. It's fine. Voltron, yes.
Did you have the Voltron set?
No.
That is the one thing that's something that I always wanted, never had. A friend of mine had the full size Voltron characters. So when he put together, right? Yeah, when you put Voltron together, he stood over 3 foot tall. He was massive. Well, yes, Conan ran around in underwear, basically. Yes, he did.
And his little fur boots.
Yep.
But Jonathan had it. But that thing was massive, though. I mean, come on, man. Like, I didn't see any. I don't know. I wasn't into that. I wasn't into it.
With the whole Voltron thing?
Yeah, wasn't into it.
Well, that was a little bit before your time, though, because I was really little when Voltron was huge. Which I don't know. I know you were into Transformers.
Voltron was
still. You remember GoBots?
And oh God, let's not discuss those.
Well, and that's where I'm saying by the time that you were old enough to discover Transformers and enjoy them, GoBots were a thing of the past. GoBots, when they first came out, were as big as Transformers. They weren't as well made. They did not transform the way that Transformers did, but they were just as popular. And I bet you I had 30 GoBots running around my house. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, wow. What was GoBots?
We're bringing back VHS. They're bringing back VHS into chat here. I love it.
You know what? Out in my garage, I've got a ton of VHS tapes.
When we moved, we got rid of a whole bunch of them. I mean, Tony, I can probably have like stacks that stood up to my shoulder. Okay. And yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when the only way you could watch a movie, you could go rent a movie, but you had to, it cost you an arm and a leg. And the best way to get a movie was to buy VHS blanks and subscribe to something like HBO or the movie channel. And there was one channel of HBO, one channel, the movie channel, and there might have been Cinemax then. I doubt it. Actually, Cinemax was the original go-to when I was a kid for catching the stuff that you shouldn't be watching because you had Skinemax.
And the fuzzy screen?
Yeah.
Wait, there's something there.
No, I mean, literally Cinemax after like 11 o'clock was all the softcore stuff.
Nothing's changed.
Because I remember as a kid when Cinemax would put the warning up on their channel, like this is now Cinemax After Dark, your children should not be watching this. And I remember going, man, don't let my parents wake up. Don't let my parents wake up. Don't let my mom, what are you doing down here? I mean,
what are you doing down here?
Well, I think she knew what I was doing. She just did not want to discuss it with me. After all, I was a teenage boy. We're not going to sit here and pretend that I wasn't a teenage boy at one time.
Exactly.
I mean, we won't discuss any of it, but you want to put that random thing back up there again?
Right there.
Yep. Getting a little too random.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, have you ever tried to find the 13th floor yet? The movie I told you came out the same time as The Matrix. The movie I told you about came out.
No, not yet. Yeah, no, not yet.
It's a hard one to find. I have searched all over my Roku. You know how there's like a million channels that show like free movies and off-brand movies and everything. It is nowhere to be found. I cannot find it anywhere.
Well, Ben,
you guys had a lot of toys that were related to TV shows as well.
So Ben, I mean, wait. So you got to remember, Ben grew up in a time when there were dirt roads, and he had a hoop stick and push it down the road. So,
well, that is true. That is true.
Yeah. So
Ben used to hang out with his friends and play kick the can.
Yeah. And then he got called back home to go turn the butter.
Ben's only 10 years older than me, Danny. Watch it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
See, that would be cool to see. Just to say you have an outhouse. I'm all about that.
My grandparents had a 3-stall outhouse at their cabin. Thankfully, I don't bring this up very often. I do bring up the ticker in the beginning, but you guys would not believe how much little things help the channels. It helps us improve the equipment. It helps us to bring more content to you.
Get out.
And it also helps in the fact that me and Danny would like to do collaborations with you. And it would help us to bring those things to light. But we don't expect it, but it would be greatly appreciated. Well, we're not going to say he's old because, like I said, he's only 10 years older than me. And I'm getting to the age where 10 years is not that much anymore.
But me and Ben have this running agreement that we're just going to mess with each other, so it's okay. He's kind of right, because really, like in the 80s is when toys really started to become. That's when toys started to really become popular. Honestly, before the 80s, like really there was nothing. Like you would go play with, I'm not seriously, like a good point about how decent toys were after, like in the 80s was A Christmas Story. Think about the stuff in A Christmas Story that look at just the display window in the beginning of the movie, right? Really only mainstream toy in that window was Mickey Mouse, and that was it. Everything else was like, Lincoln Logs or an erector set or things like that.
A train set.
Exactly. A truck, ball, a baseball glove, a bike. That were the big things that everybody wanted to get for, but then in the 80s, it was, like Tony's putting up right now, He-Man, Thundercats, Rainbow Bright was another big one right there. It was huge.
Yeah, Thundercats is huge.
Like, I mean, we're talking about the toy we had, but realistically, like Jess, I'll tell you right now, Jess was huge into Rainbow Bright. I'm looking at a shelf right now that we have, studio room, and there's a whole shelf that she has just dedicated to Rainbow Bright, to strawberry shortcake. Sorry.
Bring up Shelly's comment right there, the bottom one there, about Baby Alive. You know, Baby Alive. Shelly, correct me if I'm wrong, and because I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, because my sister had one. Was Baby Alive the one that you could hold its hand and it would walk beside you? They had a doll, Danny, that my sister had when I was little. She held its hand, and they proportioned it somehow. So, but it would walk with you when you held its hand up. It could walk with a child. It was creepiest thing ever. Creepiest thing ever.
That's crazy. That's some like space age technology for the day, though.
Yeah.
I mean, really, think of that. Back then.
Danny. He'll be back, guys. Okay, I remember that one now, Shelly. But yeah, Shelly, do you remember the doll that I'm talking about? I don't know if you'd ever seen it or not, but this thing was a child-sized doll that had pigtails, and you could hold its hand and you could walk with it. It was one of the craziest things. I mean, thinking back at it now, almost 35, 40 years later, it's still creepy to think that this thing could walk with her as she went. Michael, I'm not quite ready for Clone Wars yet, but I'm still catching up on the rest of the old ones. Shelly, you're about the same age I am, so you're not old yet.
I'm back.
We were kind of wondering about you for a minute. I thought you had that problem fixed.
Wait, what?
Thought you had that camera problem fixed. What'd you do? Bump it?
Yeah, but filming a video today for the Lotso Burger.
Oh, okay.
So she took the tripod and the camera on the top of the laptop again. So.
Oh, okay. Back to that.
It was fixed. It'll be better again. So, but the camcorder that did that for the Geek's Kitchen. So.
When does that video come out?
When that video comes out for the Lotso Burger, you want to eat that burger. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Help me out. Really, what's a Lotso burger?
So this last Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, right? The last one that they just had for 2019 burger for the event. So it's bacon jam, bacon strawberry jam with brie on the burger. So it's really good. So
Jim, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for joining us. But yeah, she breaks down on how to actually make the burger to the T, and it tastes just like in the park. So
yeah, when you said Lotso burger, I was like, it's got to be something like Lotso from Toy Story, but I couldn't quite.
It is.
I guess I'd never seen anything on the burger.
Yeah, no, what they did with the burger was they branded the top bun. You know, so with Lotso, it being strawberry jam, the strawberry bacon jam, you know, so, but I brand Lotso onto the burger, which kind of takes away from it being a Lotso burger, but it's still the Lotso burger. So, whatever.
We'll say it doesn't matter what's on the bun as long as it tastes good.
Yeah, exactly. And it definitely, she nailed it. Like, I mean, she nailed it. I don't know if any of you guys had the Lotso burger from Mickey's Not So Scary this year, but if you have, go make the burger that I'm gonna edit the video up as soon as possible and make this burger, and you will see that it's exactly the same.
Hey, here's one for you. Speaking of Disney and special events at Disney, the Friday that we are going to be there is a Villains Night.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk her into going for Villains Night. Do you know how much Villains Night is this year?
it's like almost $200.
Well, $149 a person. Which I think of all the nights
after tax and everything, you're probably paying close to 200. I mean,
yep.
I mean, it's from what I've it.
I don't know, that Villains Night just seems like the night to go. It seems like the most interactive night. You've got characters that you're not going to see even during Not So Scary.
Here's the thing. The characters aren't out. There's no meet and greets with them apparently.
Okay, I didn't.
Hey Pop, what's going on? Thanks for coming in.
Hey,
we
Pop.
Definitely appreciate it. Yeah. So those aren't out. Only within the shows and the parade and stuff, and that's it. They're not doing meet and greets.
Oh, I guess I was really wrong.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it then? No. I mean, really, they got what, the special food? Special food? I mean, the only thing it's worth friends.
Yeah. And see, we can go.
Let's be honest. The shorter time frame that they're open, with the shorter lines, you're going to get on everything you want to get on. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is still going to have at least an hour line.
Yep. Well,
do I really want to wait the rides in the Magic Kingdom? I was spending $150 per person, like spending what, $300, a minimum $300 for me and Jeff to get in there to go on Peter Pan. All right, come on, no.
See, the one I wouldn't mind doing, except for the fact it seems like there's just not enough to do there, and that might change once they change Dino Land around and bring in some new attractions, would be the Animal Kingdom after hours, for the chance to be able to get on like Flight of Passage in 45 minutes. But the problem is, and the thing is,
we're not getting on Flight of Passage in 45 minutes there. I'm telling you right now, we did it. We did after hours. We stayed for after Animal Kingdom. Only thing it was worth it for us because we got the footage from Pandora at nighttime. Literally stayed in nothing but Pandora because it's so awesome. We did it during the day, and then we were like, yeah, okay, we definitely have to come back. We went to the hotel, came back later that night, went to Yak and Yeti for dinner, and then we went over and hung out in Pandora. But then again, you also got to remember the time that I was down there, I can't really judge anything because it was right after that hurricane, and the parks were empty.
Yes,
empty. I walked on to the Smuggler's Run ride. I mean, we just walked right on, no issue. Now I can't do that now.
No, and it's going to get even worse now that they're opening up fast passes for it.
But even that night that we were in Animal Kingdom, there was at least a 2.5, 3 hour wait just to get onto Flight of Passage. What we did, I mean, we went back on it. We were like, you know what? Let's just try it. We went back on. We waited to like the very, very last second of the night before they closed the ride, the lines, and we got basically right onto the ride that way. But there was still at least an hour wait. To get through the queue and everything. It took at least an hour.
Yeah, when me and my wife went on our honeymoon, we had a fast pass for Flight of Passage, and I'll bet you it took us 45 minutes to get on. And we rope dropped it with our kids. Yeah, we rope dropped with our kids, and we still waited 2 hours. I'll bet. And I mean, we walked in, and they were just dropping the rope. I mean, it was a mad dash. Yeah. And by the time we got there, because, they got people going two different ways, and we followed the crowd, and even following the crowd, we still, and when you got kids that are like, well, we don't want to wait, you keep them busy in line. I mean, we went down and under and all the way back by the market and all the way back around. I mean, it was easily, I don't think it was quite 2 hours. It was easily an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why when you rope drop something, you should ever wait an hour and a half.
No. And honestly, have a good night, Jim. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you,
so
Jim.
much. Awesome. Thank you for everything you do and say. You're great. Realistically, I'm going to be honest with you. Are just ridiculous for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, look, people are going to turn around and be like, well, you wait on, I don't know, line for a roller coaster. Yes, I will. But realistically, I'm getting more of a thrill and a longer ride out of a roller than I will if I waited online for the Small World or Peter Pan or something like that. A ride like Haunted Mansion, yes, I'll wait on that line. Big Thunder Mountain, I'll wait on that line. Why? It's a roller coaster. I'm getting a thrill out of it. Splash Mountain in that line,
Yeah, at least with Splash Mountain, you're getting a 20-minute ride.
Exactly. You're getting a story. You're getting an interaction with that guy. Pirates, nope. I will not wait on that. Have a good night, Butch. Thank you, buddy.
Yes, have a good night. Shelly, I'll agree. Cedar Point, and it's been a problem with Cedar Point for years, and it's going to be even more of a problem now that they've sold all these gold passes. And don't get me wrong, I bought it up myself. I bought 6 of them. But the problem is, the comparison with Cedar Point and Disney World is at Cedar Point, there are so many more things to experience overall as a ride than there is. If you go to the Magic Kingdom, there are many things to ride, but not many things that are going to last very long. You ride Peter Pan's Flight, you're in and out in 55 seconds.
And it's not like to ride that again without waiting 2 hours to ride that little ridiculous ride. That's not going to do anything for you.
Yep. If the lines are super long for Magnum and I want to go hit a roller coaster, I'm going to walk back to Frontier Town. And even though it's a beginner type coaster, I can go ride the Cedar Creek Mine ride. It's not going to have the massive thrill. It's not going to have the massive drop, but it's still going to be a roller coaster where I can go hit Snake River Falls and I can get cooled off. Then I can go over to Thunder Canyon and I can get cooled back off again. And then I can go back and I can hit some of those roller coasters. Because at Disney, it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? You almost have to schedule the time you want to jump in that one line. Yeah. Okay, do I want to miss something as epic as one of the, I don't care who tells me this. I will tell them they're wrong every time. No one puts on a nighttime show like Disney does. It doesn't matter what park it is. Nobody does fireworks like Disney does. But if you want that one ride that you absolutely have to ride, you have to skip that. Yep. You have to skip it. We skipped Happily Ever After twice on our honeymoon just so we could hit 2 things we couldn't fast pass. And for me, that just wasn't worth it. Now, for my wife, it was because they're 2 rides she really wanted to ride. So I'm okay with that. But at the same time, I want to stand back and I want to enjoy a great fireworks show. It doesn't matter how many times you watch Happily Ever After. It's great every time you watch it.
But at the same aspect, when all right, 4th of July at Six Flags, right? They set the time for the fireworks show for the park. Okay, there wasn't 2 fireworks showings. It was 1 fireworks show. They shut it down rides because they knew okay, it's the end of the day, fireworks time. That's it. We're done. We'll go to the fireworks, and then that's it. You ain't going on nothing works because nothing's running. They shut the park down. You know, it's in shutdown mode. So why with other parks? You know what I mean? Like usually you go to any theme park and the fireworks are usually right as the park is closing. A park's closed. Have a good night, guys. If you want to come back tomorrow, we're here.
Yep.
And that's the way
that's
honestly should be.
You know, one of the things, you know, going back to Cedar Point versus Disney or even Six Flags or anything like that, if you're at Cedar Point, now I guess it depends on how you're there. If you're just there for the day, you got a 1-day pass, you have no choice. You got to get in as much as you can. But, you know, like I've told you before, we used to get like 3 or 4 days worth of tickets. We would go camp for 5 days up there, and we'd always have a day. Shelly, you let us know, and you follow us on Instagram. You will know just about every time that I'm going to be up there. And my wife probably won't go as much as I do, but I know that I plan on being there quite a bit this year. When you're up there and you have the days and things are super busy and super hot.
We got things that we're working on in this aspect, but a few things, some really fun, interesting things.
But when you're up there and things are super busy and it's hot, as long as you've got your stuff with you, you go right to the locker, you throw on your shorts, you walk right out the backside. They put a wristband on you. You can go right out to the beach and you can go swimming in the lake for a couple hours. And you come back in because Cedar Point, they don't do Disney right now is closing at 9 p.m. in Florida. Why is it closing at 9 p.m.? Why is the most expensive park on the planet closing at 9 p.m., period?
Exactly. I remember when Disney used to be open at least 10. Even 10 for Disney is too early for me. I'm sorry. If I'm going to Disney, really want you to stay open until at least midnight on any day.
Yeah.
Problem is labor. That's what they're claiming is labor costs. They're cutting back on labor costs, which is why they don't have characters at the villains after hours. If this is an issue, I don't get it. So we have to suffer by booking a vacation and having to go and leave that park by 9 o'clock. What am I going to do the rest of my night? Because by the time I leave there, go back to whatever, to get back on a bus to go down to Disney Springs. By that time, no. By the time I get to the hotel, I'm done. That's it. No.
Here's the thing: if it's a labor issue, why are they having all these special nights? You're driving people out of the parks by 6 to have these people that are spending this extra money to come in and stay over. I understand that it is bringing more money into the parks, but you know what? These people are choosing not to go to the parks on those days. You know what? If I'm at Disney and I need
what's going on, Charlie?
How are you guys tonight? Well, here's my thing. If I've got a rest day in my vacation at Disney, I am going to take advantage of the day that they are doing the special event and not do anything. Or I'm completely avoiding that park. So that particular park is not going to get a dime of my money that day.
Exactly.
And here's the other thing. If you want to raise the prices, I've got no problem with you raising the prices on annual passes, because if you look at it, yes, it is very expensive for an annual pass. But in the long run, are you saving money? If you go more than once a year, you're saving money. Here's the thing. Why is everybody that lives out of the state of Florida being punished with that and not given?
You want to go into annual passes? Let's be fair. Let's not even look at Disney then, because realistically, I'll go into if Six Flags, okay? Realistically, with my membership pass, right? If I break it down, I'm really only paying for about 2.5 visits a year. to get into the park with my membership pass, and this is including food. Okay, so now every Flags, Jeff and myself can walk into that park any day. Okay, no blackout, no nothing. I can go to California. I can go to Jersey. I can go to Chicago. Doesn't matter what Six Flags park it is. So I'm paying, I'd say $30 a month for 2 passes. Okay, and this includes per admission parking. I have free parking, and then I have 2 meals a day. 2 meals a day per pass, and those, the Six guys usually see me have on stream. Like if I'm at the park and like, on Sunday nights and like, oh, okay, I got to stream or whatever. I'll come home. If we're at the park on Saturday, I come home, stream with your own hashtag Sippy Cup. I can take that to any Six Flags park and get free soda all day long for $30 a month. Good night, Noah.
Yeah, well, that's just like with Cedar Point. Before I trade in my digital voucher, when I go, I will be buying for $129.99, just like you have the dining plan. I get 2 meals a day. All I have to do is skip 4 hours. Now, I'm the one that has to get it, but I'm not the one that has to eat it. But and then for another $31.99, now you got the souvenir mug. I got my choice, souvenir mug or get another cup every time I go, which I'd rather.
I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. They gave us it. It's part of the membership. So even without the meal plan, the memberships, the only membership that does not get is in the gold plan, which is like the $9.99 a month plan. Okay.
I'm a gold with Cedar Point. So
gold is our basic. So Cedar Point's probably is too. They're modeling after what Six Flags is doing. So
with the gold, do you get free parking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So our silver plan starts at where you guys get the drinker. That red drinker I have is they give that, you sign up, you go in the first day there, you show your ID, they give you the piece of the plastic card with the lanyard, and then they hand you your drinker. Nice day, have a nice season, keep paying us every month, we're good, and realistically, that's another thing too, is they automatically take it out of my account. I don't got to worry about anything. But they give you the drinker. Now, they got Coke Freestyle machines all over the park. If I don't go to a Coke Freestyle machine, I can go to one of the counters and get a counter. So I get anywhere in that park.
Yep.
I get certain drinks. Now, if I wanted to add the food service onto that, I can. But I still have something to drink on a hot summer day in Georgia or Chicago or California in a Six Flags park for free. They're giving you a free. You know how much a soda is in Six Flags? A large soda, right? Because I'll get a large soda and split it between, right? A large soda in Six Flags is probably about $10. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, let's just say I went and I'm going to need 2 sodas because whatever, we got 2 meals or whatever. Well, guess what? I paid more for that 1 soda the whole month worth of 2 meals. Because 2 months, for a month of 2 meals every day is $7.05.
Yeah, that's like with the plans at Cedar Point. You get your choice. Yeah. When you go in, you show them your pass at the as you enter. Then you go up to your first kiosk and they give you the option. Do you want the souvenir mug or do you want a refill cup every time you come? I don't want to carry that souvenir mug all over the place. Give me the throwaway cup. I know it's yeah.
Yeah.
So And that's the thing. $31, I can drink all year long. If I go twice and drink a couple of drinks each day, I've made up my money for that. And $120 for a food plan on top of the $99 pass, it's not that bad.
Right.
Because you go any park you go to, you're going to spend $40 plus to eat 2 meals. $40 plus, easy. Easy. Well, yeah. That is if you do a sit down meal. I mean, you can eat cheap. People say that it's expensive to eat at parks. You can eat cheap, but if you go in and you get a full meal, a sandwich, fries, and a drink, or onion rings, whatever it may be, 2 meals, you're going to spend at least $25, $30. And if you sit down somewhere, that's easily a $25 meal.
Does Cedar Point have sit downs?
Yes.
See, we don't.
They have, they have added a couple of more, but they had back towards the back of the park. They had a really nice. It was a family style, fun type restaurant. It kind of puts you in the mind of like a TGI Fridays and Applebee's, but it was called Macaroni's. You went, you sat down, you had a waitress, the whole 9 yards. But the food was great, and they've got a new restaurant they're putting in this year. And they have a couple of more that you can actually sit down and eat. And then they have partner restaurants that are on property that are all part of that plan as well.
Okay. Oh, it is part of the plan.
Yeah, I believe so. The way I was reading it, it was. Now, once you get away from the park itself.
What you're getting, your meal plan, you can use it at the sit-down restaurant?
The way I'm reading it, I can. It's saying...
are there tiers for the food plan there?
No, it's one food plan.
One food.
Yep.
Okay, because we have 2 different options, and it really you're gonna laugh at this one because it's a no-brainer why I do this too. So basically, what they offer is they have the first option is one meal plan. Okay. Meal and 1 snack. Okay. So, but basically what you got to do is if you're one of those people that go to the park early, it's good for you then. If you're one of those that stay all day or come later in the day, then it's not worth it for you. So it's like $6 for the one. So then you go in there, you get your 1 meal, and then you get your snack or whatever, and you still get your cup. You still got your cup. Now, what I have is set for 2 meals. So now, realistically, I'm paying an extra $1 to get 2 meals. Yeah, please. Because when it comes down to it,
I say, hook me up.
Seriously.
The extra buck.
Seriously. So, yeah, really. So, realistically, now, I just added Jess's onto it. This year, I'm going to add it on actually, but we're going to add her, give her a meal plan this year too. Using 1 meal plan last year between the 2 of us, but the catch is the first meal plan. You only have park opens at 10, okay, which is normal for them to open at 10 during the summer. You can't use that meal plan until 11 o'clock. 3. Okay. Now, the second part of that is the second meal that you have. You can only use it between 4 and 7.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't use your snack before 7 o'clock, cost it.
Now, see, here's with the one at Cedar Point, it's simple. They open at 10. Whenever they close, you get 2 meals, and the only catch is they have to be 4 hours apart. So if you don't eat your meal until 4:30, and it's a weekday at the beginning of the year, and they close at 8, you're only getting 1 meal.
Yeah.
So you could eat the minute you walk in the park. There's no time frame on it. And I'll go in and look at it more so that way we can talk a little more in depth about it. But I'm pretty sure, and maybe it's something it's a catch for.
It's still worth it. Even if you use the one, it's still worth it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't even plan on putting it on anybody's plan but mine.
Right.
Because, I mean, we take the kids up. Now, this is something I've always done if I just made a day trip. See, the one thing that I don't like about Cedar Fair properties is I don't know about Six Flags, you cannot take food into the property.
Nope.
That's the one thing. And you know what? There's a part of me that understands that, and I'm surprised that Disney allows it. But okay. But we would pack a cooler, we would put it in the car, and we would go out midday, and because they got picnic tables at the park, outside the entrance. I would take and I would wheel the cooler up to the car, would sit and eat lunch, take the cooler back out, put it in the car. And I mean, this is years ago when I used to go up, just me and some friends. But it's, if you need to save some money. It only takes,
exactly.
Cedar Point, you can walk from front to back in 20 minutes.
Yep. You can do that with Six Flags too. It's a decent size. You know what I mean? It's not huge, but it's not small. But you can do it.
Hey, Jonathan, with your avatar, if you just put it up, sometimes it takes a while for your avatar to change within YouTube itself. Yeah.
Especially if you're in like a stream or something, like, interacting and stuff. So, but it'll pop up. Definitely will. Yeah, like Cedar Point really isn't that big. People think it's a lot bigger than it is.
Cedar Point covers a lot of ground, but they do it so well. I shouldn't say it covers a lot of ground. They put a lot of stuff into a very small space, and it looks very expansive. When you go in and you walk through it, it feels larger than what it is. But I mean, you can literally walk the entire park and see the entire park in probably an hour and a half. And I mean, that's walking through Frontier Town, and that's going back behind, seeing the railroad, and then coming back through the front side and hitting both the main and the other midways.
See, what I like about Six Flags being so close to me is the fact that I can go there and really don't have to go on any rides. I can go just to walk the park. I can go just to get out of the house, sit on a bench, and watch people. Because realistically,
sometimes that's as much fun as riding the rides.
That's what I was going to say. The best attraction in a theme park is always the people. That's the quickest, and easiest attraction to get onto is people watching. Find yourself a bench and hunker down and watch people act like a fool. Try it. It's just the best thing ever. But realistically, I can do it. I'm only 20 minutes away from the park. It's down the road from me. I'm not wasting my time. For you to do that would be a waste of your time. Like, as far away as you are from Cedar Point, you're going to go and you have a mission. You're going to be there all day. You're going to get those rides in because, well, it may be another month before you get back to use your pass. And I get it.
One of the best things at Cedar Point though is sitting. They got benches all along Top Thrill Dragster, and they got a set of benches on each side of the exit for Top Thrill. That is the best place in the park to sit to watch people because you get to see people coming off that ride. And to see the people coming off you see these people going in, oh yeah, they're high-fiving these big burly men. They're ready to ride the ride and take it on. Never rode this before. And
yeah. And then seeing their faces as they do that is just hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen grown men that look like they go and chop wood for a living come off crying. And it's probably one of the funniest things you ever see. I mean, I feel bad in a way. I mean, because it's 120 miles an hour on that ride is pretty intense, but it's definitely fun to watch people come off. I guess Danny's having troubles with his camera again. Now, Shelly, have you ever ridden Top Thrill Dragster? Now, here's a story I'll tell you about my poor sister. And my sister is a major thrill seeker. And she thought she was going to ride Top Thrill Dragster, and it was going to be just fine. She was going to have a great time and everything. And they had to pry her out of the seat. And I'm not so sure that she didn't. I'm not so sure she didn't pee her pants. Danny? Well, I hope Danny's just having camera problems again because he's got total control of the stream here. Well, Jonathan, they literally had to pry her out because she wouldn't let go of the handle. She was scared to death. And I think that kind of ended her streak of riding the really intense roller coasters. She'll still ride some of the roller coasters, but I don't think she likes to go out and ride them the way she used to after that. Well, that's good, Shelly. I'm glad she liked it. I'm glad to see you're back. I was worried maybe something happened this time because you just were gone this time.
No. I bumped the thing to restart the browser, and so it's fine. It was me. I got to remember not to bump things. That's all.
Well, I was asking Shelly if she's ever ridden Top Thrill Dragster. He does.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's the logo he has had.
Yeah. Well, it's new. It's just popped up for me. I like it. It's awesome.
All right, I was asking Shelly if she's ridden Top Thrill Dragster, and she says she won't ride it. Now, she says she wants to come up and meet me and She wants to meet me, Martine, up there. You know, if she wants to come and meet us up there, I'm going to need someone to ride Top Thrill Dragster with me. I'm depending on Shelly to show up and ride it with me.
You know, I would.
Well, I know you would.
I have no fear. I'm good. Jess would ride it too.
You know, that slow creep over the top, do you think she'd be okay with that? Because she's not good with heights. Yeah.
No, Jess would be fine. If it's on a coaster, she's fine. On a coaster,
okay, because it literally creeps over the top. Well, you said you've rode King to Ka, right? Well, you haven't. You haven't been up. Okay, so you know how slow it creeps over the top of those things.
Yep.
That computer gives it just enough to get over the top. Because I'll tell you, the first time I rode it, as much fun as I was having going 120 miles an hour, when we creeped up over the top and I literally, it just felt like it was going to stick. There was that moment of hesitation. It was like, how are they going to get me out of this thing? And then all of a sudden it goes over. You know, and I think the King to Ka, it just comes down and kind of turns back, right? See, the top thrill comes down and actually turns within itself.
turns. Yeah, it turns. Yeah, it has a little
because ours
twist
turns.
in there.
Yeah, ours turns within itself instead of just turns back. It turns within itself. So you got that coming down
Yeah.
over the hill, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I better be. But one of these days, I'm hoping for what's known as the rollback. I've seen a lot of videos of rollback, and I've actually seen I've
they're
seen a
not fun.
double rollback.
They're weird.
Oh, I would do one. Yeah, but
I've had
still
a triple rollback on Kingdom. I've had a triple on Kingdom.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would.
Let me tell you,
your stomach doesn't know where to go.
The first one, you're like, all right, I know what this is. It just got to reset. You're like, okay, why this? And then the third one, you're okay. This ain't good. 3 times you came back. This is not good. You know?
Yeah, because the computer accounts for why it didn't go over. You know, because the computer is constantly adjusting the speed on that all the time.
Well, Kingdom Ka, it's not even this. It's air pressure, is what it. Basically, it launches you too early without having enough. It could be a heavier train than normal. You know, you could have some. You know, that muscly dude on there with a bunch of his friends, and you know, it's going to weigh the tray down a little more. Like, all right, well,
or you could have the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Exactly. You know, the first one, they have it set to different intervals. Like, it knows if it rolls back, like, okay, we have to increase the PSI to this now. And then if it does it again, it increases it more. So it gets it up over that hill, you know. So that's all that is, you know, the scent when it just on there, like, okay, start increasing PSI just so we can get this back up. So
yeah, see,
Kingdom Ka is air launch.
Yeah, Top Thrill is a mix of electromagnetics and a tow cable.
Okay.
Which, when you think about that, to think about everything it has to go through to both adjust for your electromagnetics and a tow cable pull on that thing, it's amazing that thing never has. Well, I mean, it does run into problems where it's down for 2-3 days, but you know, I mean, for good reason. I mean, if it's down, I don't want them starting it back up just because I'm up there and want to ride it. Yes, I have seen videos. If you go up, I've seen videos where it gets stuck at the top. And I remember when that ride first opened, that was a problem. It was getting stuck at the top. They couldn't get it to
what were they doing?
adjust.
So having some kid climb up there to push it?
I think they had to. I can't remember how they brought that thing back down. They wound up. There might be something on it now that can help adjust it to get it to go either way. I can't remember how they did it now. It got stuck twice where they had to get that thing back over. But somehow I'd have to go back and watch it. But yeah, I think it got stuck twice the first month it was open.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's the last place I want to be stuck is 400 some feet up in the air. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not going to stop me from getting on it.
Oh yeah, no.
But Shelly, the mean streak and Raptor, even as much as the mean streak beats you up, to say that the Maverick is better than either of those. I mean, I love the Maverick. It is a great roller coaster. Danny, the Maverick is a double launch coaster. It comes out and it's a launch up the lift. It launches you up the lift hill. It's supposed to be like riding in an aircraft. And then it comes down. It's got a super smooth track. It does a lot of left and rights. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of hairpin turns, and then it goes through what looks like an airplane hangar. And you seem to slow down, and all of a sudden it just. What's that?
Is it a Eurofighter?
No. You talking brand?
well, the type it kind of like a Eurofighter. What is it like? It's like a single car that has like
No, it's
four
not
or
a
six
single
people
car.
in it.
No, it's a train. No, it's a
Okay.
train. I think it's a 4 train, maybe a 6. But
Okay.
it's smaller, but it's not like a full coaster car. But it comes through, and then
Because
it's
we
got a
have one
second
here.
launch.
Yeah, we have one here that's a 2 train. It has like 6 in each seat, and it's a Daredevil dive. And it's a Eurofighter, but basically the whole principle of it is like you're creating is like really tight turns in it, like in the loop and everything. It's just tight. It's quick and tight. So it's not tall. It's not. It's tight.
Yeah.
And it beats you up.
This here is as smooth as it gets. I mean, there is nothing on it that will. Yeah, there's nothing at all that will. See, I'm trying to bring it up here. See if I can remember how to do this. I haven't done this for a while.
See what it is.
You see it all right?
Mm-hmm. I see it. Okay.
Did not play.
Probably not. I see it. It launches you
Now,
up. Okay.
Cedar Point. I give Cedar Point a lot of crap for their POVs. This is actually one of their best ones. It gives a really good feel for this.
Yeah. So this here, ours is, but this is definitely a lot longer.
Yeah, this here actually, Cedar Point got a lot of hate mail because the original ride that was right here was called Whitewater Landing. It was an old school log ride. I mean, you were in a canoe. It wasn't quite a log ride, but man, it's blurring out.
This is a fun ride here.
Yeah, this is. I'm not gonna lie, it's a fun ride, but it's definitely not what the Raptor or the Mean Streak used to be. But you won't find a smoother roller coaster probably anywhere in the world. You don't feel any of this. It's just smooth.
Here, so let me show you what I'm talking about with ours. Audio, Chrome. This. I'm just going to show you pictures of it. So this is Daredevil Dive. See what I mean? Like how small the cars are?
Okay. So it's kind of like the, what is it called? The Rip Ride Rocket at Universal? Is it kind of like that one?
No, I think that's what it's called. Really. It's a lot shorter than that. Like this right here, this picture, I mean, this is basically, that's the whole ride. Like the station's right here. You come out the station, you come up here, and you drop, and then you're going through all. And there's basically like a flight hangar that's over in this area over here that you go through, and that's basically it. So it's a really quick ride. Not fast.
Okay, yeah.
But
Maverick is a very Maverick's almost felt to me kind of like the way me and you have talked about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's a great roller coaster, but it feels like it needs about 20 more seconds. And I say that about a lot of roller coasters. I feel like there's always one little element you could
But you know,
Then
they do
again, I'm
that
a
purposely,
junkie.
though. They do that purposely for people like you and me, where it's like, okay, I need the next one now. Let's do this. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
I feel like,
like Maverick to me would
there's
be
something.
Maverick would be the one that I would start with for the day, just to kind of, or even the season, just to back into the flow of things.
Yeah, it's a lot more intense than a lot of people think. And I think a lot of people, that's where a lot of people make the mistake when they ride that roller coaster, because it's not a big hill. I think it's 127 feet, but the dive is deeper than the hill. It drops below the level of the lift hill. Yeah, Cedar Point has spoiled us. I'm not going to lie. And this is coming from somebody who lived out east, and Danny is very familiar with Great Adventure. There's a lot of great rides at Great Adventure, but I'm not going to lie when I tell you I was disappointed in Great Adventure, as far as when you're used to Cedar Point and what they put out. You expect that everywhere you go, and you're just not going to get it. And I'm not saying Cedar Point really is better than Great Adventure. I don't really mean that. But you get used to every roller coaster is a record breaker.
No, I get you. I get you. It's Cedar Point Central, and I get it. Like, when you like a roller coaster, you go to Cedar Point because all you're going to get is roller coasters. I get it. And I mean, I like, because it gives you a good variety of things. I like how they, like, people want to say, well, their parks aren't themes. Yes and no. They kind of are, but they kind of aren't. Like, but I don't like it when they're over themed either. Like Disney, when you go to themes, we get that. I know it. I accept it. But you go to like Hershey Park could be a little over themed. No reason, They try to, like they got their Hershey characters everywhere and this and that, like, all right, okay, cool, enough, I get it. But Six Flags doesn't throw that at you. Like, it's hard to find a character walking around Six Flags. Let's be honest. I've been into enough Six Flags to tell you that to find Bugs Bunny in Six Flags, unless there's some kind of show going on, like you ain't gonna find him walking around. There's no meet and greets for Bugs Bunny. There's no set times for the Looney Tune characters.
That's one thing I like about Cedar Point.
Yeah.
And Cedar Fair is you're going to see the Peanuts characters out and about, especially Snoopy, especially Woodstock. Not so much like Charlie Brown and all that, but Snoopy is a huge figure out and about in the parks. It's not all day, every day. There's not meet and greets like you get in line to meet him like you would Mickey Mouse. Right. But you go over into like the kids area, and there's a whole land dedicated to Peanuts, and those characters are out off and on all day long.
Right. I mean, yeah, we have the Looney Tunes area, but they're not really out there.
But would you want to be out in a Bugs Bunny costume in Atlanta, Georgia in the middle of summer?
People are out in Florida in the middle of summer in characters.
Well, I know, but it's more expected there than it is at Six Flags.
It's still a major theme park.
Okay, fair enough.
Like,
so are you saying...
Look, you got an A. You know how you get your A-list and B-list celebrities? Well, Disney's the A-list with Universal. And really, Six Flags is on the B-list. It's not on the bottom,
True.
Cedar Point, list, compared to the big guys, like, we make the rules and, don't tell us what, to do with a theme park. But realistically, they're still up there. It's Six Flags. They got parks everywhere. They're big, you know. So don't tell me
if I'm going to a
that
Six
it wouldn't be
Flags,
expected.
well, I don't know if you would expect it the same way you would like a Disney. I don't know.
I hear
See,
it
like I
all the
said,
time. People, well, here's the thing: is you got to remember who's to Six Flags, who's going to Cedar Point, who's going to Dorney Park, who's going to these little parks like this, and why are they going to these parks? Why to Cedar Point? Because you cannot afford to go down to Florida to go to Disney World. Now, I hear it all the time. Oh, where are the characters? Where can I meet the characters? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have them out. Well, why not? You want people, give them the experience that they're looking for. They're looking for that meet and greet. They're looking for that Disney experience, but cheaper. That's it.
Well, and
your characters aren't going to be looking quality wise. I get it, because they don't look quality that much. Like, they're good quality, but they're not for Universal. They're not like a minion walking around. You know what I mean? They're not like that.
Yeah.
But they're still good looking costumes. They're on a budget. Guys out. Have them meet somewhere.
So if I'm to take from what you're saying if you're Six Flags and you're Cedar Point and you are wanting to compete for that family dollar, that's all the more reason you should have these people out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I definitely don't disagree with you there. I don't. I didn't mean that as I disagree with you.
If you go to an amusement park because Disney set the preference, Universal set the preference, what do you these places have? Some kind. Every amusement park has some kind of mascot. I don't care what amusement park you go to. I go back up to New York. I can go back to Rye Place. Their mascot was a dragon. I can go out to Pennsylvania to Knoebels. Their mascot's a beaver. Why can't I meet your mascot?
True. I mean,
it just makes it a little more.
Went all the way out to see a moose.
Exactly. Those family photos that you take, like, oh yeah, that's right, we took a picture with the beaver. Now that's going up online. Like, oh cool, they got a beaver. Let's go, because this looks fun because they got a character. It helps them out really in the end.
Well, here's something for you. When I was young, when Kings Island was an independent park and they were in partnership with Hanna-Barbera, I have pictures. I mean, this was probably 79 or 80. I was 5, maybe 6 years old. I've got pictures with Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah.
They were out and about in that park. So, and when you go to Cedar Point, you're not going to see characters the way you're going to see them at Disney. You are going to see them out and about, though. But if I'm going to Six Flags, you know who I want to see more than Bugs Bunny? I want to see old Foghorn Leghorn. That's my kind of dude right there. That's my kind of dude right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Jersey used to have him out all the time. They used to have him out more than they used to have Bugs Bunny out.
And he was probably flooded with people.
More than Bugs Bunny.
And I'm not so sure if I don't go through my old pictures with me and my stepdaughter at Six Flags, that I think I do have a picture with me and her and Foghorn. I'm going to have to go through those.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm going to have to take a look.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, can't you have these characters out?
Yeah. And I'm just ignoring your last comment, Shelly, just so you know. We don't even admit that Wolverines really exist. Shelly, if you want to check out Jonathan's home park, that is a park that I definitely. Well, it probably won't be this year because I do not have my passport right now. But Canada's Wonderland is definitely on my list for next summer. I definitely want to go check out some of those coasters. They've got some nice coasters up there. Yeah, you guys did Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I made sure I was there for that because I wanted to.
That stream actually made me hungry, man. Especially talking about beaver tails.
Oh yeah, we had a good time talking about beaver tails that night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's that? The Yukon Striker? Is that the dive coaster that's opening this year or open last year?
Last year in that park, yeah. Jonathan, have you been on the Striker? Coaster looked amazing. Just that stall it does. I'm not even going to get into that.
What about Winona? Little Primus.
Why won't you go on that, Jonathan? Jonathan said he won't go on it.
Oh, come on, Jonathan.
It's scary. He said it's scary. I've been on worse.
Life's scary too, but you're still living it. Right, Danny?
Exactly. Huh? Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. You only live once. And when you get to wherever you're going, when this ride ends, when this ride ends and the next ride begins, you can't go back and say, I'd like to try that over again. There's no going back.
Everyone's like, aren't you afraid something's going to happen on one of those rides? I'm like, well, it does. At least I went out having fun.
Yeah, at least I didn't get ran over by a bus going to work.
Yeah, right? At least I was having fun.
And I know my wife's going to get a nice payday from the lawsuit.
Right? Yeah.
Jonathan, you will drive a race car at breakneck speeds, but not the coaster.
Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate it. Oh, that's great.
Shelly, you and Jonathan and Noah have been with the two of us since we first started these streams, and we love having you guys in here. You have no idea how many times me and Danny have just kind of looked at the camera at each other, and one of you guys just say something, and it just goes. We'll be going for hours on something we had no idea we were going to talk about.
Exactly. And
that's why that's why I can't wait until, more people are going to find this and they're going to find out what they've been missing. Because not every stream is going to pay attention to the people in the chat, and they just don't.
Nope. Exactly.
And I don't mean that as a slight on. There are some people, they just don't pay attention to the chat, and you know what? Whatever. But there are some people that just don't know how to pay attention to the chat. And I do miss stuff. I do. But I try to make sure I'm seeing everything everybody says, because it may be the one comment.
Oh, there's two of us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, come on. Last week, we got on music. How? I still have no idea. I watched back at that stream, and next thing I know, we're talking about Corey Taylor and Lane Staley and metal.
I have no idea. I really don't know how that.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, but I mean, you go.
Yeah. Can't throw that in there.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. We definitely go in here on Tuesday nights. It's not your typical
Yes, we do.
run-of-the-mill stream. Like, really, there's no filter with any of this.
No.
We just go.
Or rhyme or reason, or planning for that matter.
No.
Who needs planning? Oh, Shelly, missing Lane is just the beginning of everything. Lane Staley to me was everything when I was in my most formative years. And later in life, as I went through my addiction problems and got clean, Lane was even that much more important to me because he was passed on by then, and I could look back and listen to his music and realize he was asking for the same help that I was always asking for from people, and no one paid attention.
Have a good night coming in. We appreciate you being
here. Night, Ben. But yeah, Lane Staley,
Got your bag whenever you need it.
What's that?
I said, that's another one. Ben will have your back when you need him there.
Yeah.
That's the Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was pretty much me and Jonathan chatting the whole time in there. Talking about roller coasters and talking about Canada's Wonderland and me just trying to keep things going, trying to help out.
What it usually turned into, yeah.
You had to have somebody to keep things going.
Yeah. Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I was excited for every Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. They were a beautiful thing.
Yes, they were. Danny, have you ever come across a coaster and says, I don't know if I can ride it?
What?
Huh?
What coaster?
Have you ever come across a coaster? What's that? Which one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was beautiful.
Real beautiful. Shelly, Scott wasn't that big of a loss. Especially once I read the letter that his ex-wife wrote to everybody about not feeling bad that he was gone. Scott Weiland. Did you ever read that letter she wrote? That was telling right there. Your own child's mother.
Yeah.
But you know, I've lived in the music scene, and I'd heard some stories about what Scott Weiland was like behind the scenes, and while their early stuff, I really appreciated it. I thought it was great. I thought it was beautiful music, but he burned every bridge he possibly had to burn, and then went back.
He was a wild man. Like, he was just wild. Like, wild.
Well, Velvet Revolver was the perfect mix of drugs and alcohol. There wasn't a sober man in that group. And it just made it even worse for him. And you take, in the last two on there, Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, I don't even want to start in there because I'm afraid that if I start talking about how I really feel about what happened with those two, the black van is going to come and get me. There's a lot of real shady circumstances around the death of Chester Bennington and some really shady stuff around Chris Cornell's death and what he was trying to bring to light.
Yeah. Especially Chris Cornell. Chester, I don't see some of that, but Chris Cornell, yeah, because there's really no reason for that one. Because Chris Cornell had everything going really good.
Well, and he was trying to bring to light a lot of sexual abuse allegations against a lot of people in the music industry. Yes. And it seemed like once he started bringing that stuff to light, next thing you knew, boom, he's gone. You know, now Chris Cornell was a longtime advocate for mental health, and he even talked extensively about his problems with depression. So I can see how this happened. But it's a perfect storm of, okay, this is going on, guys. We need you to pay attention to this. And then all of a sudden, he's hanging in a closet. It just doesn't add up.
When you're an advocate for that, you just do that. Like, you know of outlets to go to at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, abuse with children was exactly what it was, and that is a very deep, dark secret that has been coming to light in the music and the movie industry. And Chris Cornell, I mean, look, he didn't get with the remaining members of Rage Against the Machine because he didn't believe in social justice. He did. He was a fighter for social justice, and him and Tom Morello wrote a lot of music. When you listen to the stuff that they wrote for that album, you know, when you go back and listen to it now, there was a lot of story behind those songs. And then he kind of left the music industry. They were getting ready to go back in studio as Soundgarden to record a brand new album. So he had there were no reasons behind why it happened at the time it did. He could have made that music just the same, and then if he still wanted to do it. He had a lot of heart going into this album. He had 4, maybe 5 songs written for the studio when this happened.
Yeah. They were definitely like almost done.
And then here you have Chester Bennington standing out there going, something's wrong here. This did not happen the way it happened. I know for a fact there are some shady things that have happened with Chris Cornell. Then look where Chester Bennington wound up. The same exact way. It just doesn't add up. And I'm not one of those people that want to sit back and say conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. But you know what? 2 men both talking about the same thing died the same way, and only after they both were speaking out.
So they claim that's how they.
Yeah.
I'll be morbid. Show me proof.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Saying that they did this themselves is like saying that Courtney Love had nothing to do with Kurt Cobain's death.
In a bathtub.
Yeah. All you need to do is watch the movie Bleach. That movie was insane. They laid everything out for you right there.
Yep.
And I'm not going to allow this show to turn into a conspiracy show, because it's real easy for something like this to get picked up and people expect to hear this all the time, but something was really fishy with that.
Yep. So anyways, changing that. How's your travel agency thing going?
It's doing all right. I'm learning real quickly to roll with the punches. I had someone send me a text a few days ago. I'd promoted my my travel agency page through Facebook, and I got a few hits on it. Had someone text me like, okay, this is the thing. We have accommodations. We're flying down with family. We got a house to stay in. We just need tickets to Disney, tickets to Universal. This is what I'm looking at. She goes, but we've never been to either one. So I asked some questions. It took days and days to get her to respond. So here I am. I'm working on stuff without any knowledge, and then I finally get some stuff here. Then I get some more information, and I finally work up a really nice quote for. I mean, Disney. I mean, to get a deal on tickets with Disney is impossible anyway. But they got a decent deal going on right now. You know, $89 a day to start. It wound up being like $91 with the date they wanted to travel. I told her, I says, unfortunately, there's no payments to be made on just tickets with either one. You pay that up front. I said, give me 1 hour. I said, that's all I need, an hour. I'll have you a quote. I have 2 emails sent to you within an hour. I mean, I had to send to her in a half an hour, had this quote done. I mean, it was expensive. It was around $3,500. It was 7 people. 7 people, 4 days at the 4 days at the Disney parks. Now, two of these people were children under the age of 3. So, I mean, those were free. So we got 5 people buying tickets. I got them the buy 2, get 2 free at Universal. So I gave them 4 days at Universal, 4 days at Disney parks. And it was 27 for one and 17 for the other, which I don't think that's too bad.
No, it's not.
So I sent that off to her. I don't hear anything back. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait 48 hours. So I sent her a message. Just wanted to reach out. Did you receive my emails? Is there anything you want me to adjust? Blah, blah, blah. She won't even text me back. You know what? How about just a simple text back? Hey, text. We're not interested.
It's going to happen, though. You're going to get those. You know.
Well, I know, but you know, here's the thing. I was raised to treat people with the same respect that you expect in return. I was respectful enough, and I worked my butt off to get all this stuff for her. It doesn't cost her a dime.
But you're working with a customer, and the customer never feels the need that they need to. You know, at work they'll call me. They'll call me for prices all the time at work. Oh, okay, I'll get back to you. You're never getting back to me. I know what that answer is. Oh, I'll get back to you. I know what that. I'm moving along. Okay, bye. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
You know, but because I'm bringing this
I'm
up.
glad it happened with my first one though. Because then if I had booked a couple in a row and then got it, but it's good to get that out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm asking, here in Atlanta, they're actually having a travel show. And then it's actually moving up towards 2 up north in DC, and then there's one in Philadelphia. So I don't know if that's something that would interest you or would to maybe, you know, get a booth at one of these.
Well, I've got a couple here in Ohio I'm looking at this summer. I'm going to do some like bridal shows and stuff because I also book for sandals and, you know, I book for the cruise line. So, you know, here's a story for you. You know, when you're a travel agent.
The bridal shows, what's going to get you, because it really helped us out, is the Disney gift registry. You can tell them to do that, and it's going to help them out so much, and it's the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot you told me about that. I'm going to have to...
It helps out.
I'll need you to send me the link to that, because I'd like to have that link, so I think I might put it on the business card I make for those bridal shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you that aren't aware, I'm a travel agent now, and my business is Vacations by Fantasmic. I've been studying for this for years now. A lot of my Disney passion has turned into studying more than it has been enjoying Disney. And I just recently got on with a company out of Tampa, Florida, where I'm contracted to be a travel planner. I won't say I specialize in Disney. I mean, Disney I know more than any other, but I can book anybody to go anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Which is the nice part. I mean, the only places that don't really book packages, which I guess I can understand, which I don't understand about Cedar Point so much because they have the resorts, but Six Flags doesn't do anything like that. You would think that Cedar Point themselves, because of the resorts they have, would do some sort of package deal. You would think they would be going for something like that. Well, thanks, Bax. I appreciate that.
I just sent that link to you, Tony.
Okay.
That was definitely a game changer for the Disney wise. But as far as you're saying though, is for parks, I'm surprised more parks really don't team up with different agencies and things like that also, because like even though like Six Flags, they don't have anybody, you know, like Hershey Park has their hotel attached to the theme park. Don't really, you know, go through an agency. It's just all on their page. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. See, Disney is doing things to try to cut all travel agents out. Period. Now, see, what we go to book is different than, like, if you go online to book, ours is very similar, but it's really just called Disney Travel Agents page. I mean, it shows up kind of the same as what yours does. It asks for your dates and how many people and ages and everything. But we have more tools. Like I have a mini website that's built directly through Disney. I can share it wherever I want. And when I post it anywhere, when people click on it, it doesn't take them to Disney. It takes them to me, which is nice.
Right.
But they are changing the way that they promote things, which is really kind of killing off the travel agents. Because what happens is Disney builds their prices to pay out commission. Because what you can book for, I can book you for. Now, there might be incentive packages that are available only to travel agents to book people at. Like there's something every month for the next couple of months. Like I can book you somewhere a lot cheaper than you can get if you want to stay at a certain resort, which is nice to give that advantage to the travel agents. But the less travel agents they're using or allowing to book, the more of that 10% they're saving every time that something gets booked. So they really want to cut agents out of it, which I think is sad, because if you are a first-time Disney traveler, there is nothing more frustrating than trying to book a Disney vacation, period. It's so mind-boggling sometimes. I know when we planned our 2016 vacation, it's the first time I planned one all on my own.
Yeah.
And I am a planner. I'm finite, you know, not that everything has to go according to plan, but if I don't have everything completely down to exactly what we want to do before we go, I am completely lost. Like if we got to be at the airport at 6 a.m., I want to know exactly what time I need to leave the house to get there on time. It doesn't mean that when we get there, things can't change. I'm perfectly fine with things going awry. But the initial plans I have to plan everything out.
See,
but we travel large.
Any trip that I never sat there and I never made an itinerary for it. I just said, okay, I'm going to Disney this day. Only itinerary that I've ever really made was I'm going this day, this park that day, and this park that day, and that was it. Never I'm eating here at this time, going on this ride. No, never that. We just
Now,
went
I
with
didn't
the
get as
flow.
finite. I didn't get as finite as, okay, here's our fast pass at this time. We're going to go get in line for this right here because this is the usual wait time. But see, the first time we went in 2016, there was 6 plus my 2 parents. So they were staying in a separate room, and they had, some days were different plans. So I had to plan the days that we were going to be completely together. I had to plan out for both of us. And then
Right.
when me and my wife went, we were pretty loose. You know, the fast passes were planned, the dining was planned. You know, I had a good idea of what I wanted to do, but there's certain things that I need to do for my mental disorder to keep me in line, or else getting there, I'm not going to be able
Yeah.
to get on that plane and go. You know, because
Right.
I'm, you know, and you know, the medications I take make me a little scatterbrained too. So the one thing I need to do is I need to have a good idea in my head what I'm doing before I leave. Like I said, if things go awry, because you know as well as I do, and anybody listening here that's been to Disney, when you go to Disney, things are not going to go as planned. Period. Just not. Just absolutely not.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. You have a perfect trip planned out, what you're going to do, and it's just
No, it's just not. Hang on, I'm just putting something in the chat real quick.
okay.
Sorry about that. Oh, there's old Leia. I'm surprised I haven't heard Max upstairs tiptoeing around, seeing if he can get into anything.
I'm surprised I haven't heard him yet.
Let's see. Yeah, you could hear him pretty good the other night.
Yeah. She's not happy with that. She's going to the vet tomorrow morning.
Oh, just a checkup, I hope.
Yeah.
Good deal.
You know, all that stuff. When you find a Groupon for $90 to take your dog to the vet,
Oh yeah,
you take it.
Yep.
You know.
Is she one of those that's scared to go into the vets?
No, she's not. But she hasn't been to the vet in a little while since we actually moved down here. So, well, guess we'll find out. We used to take her to Banfield at Pet. We just didn't like them because it was constant upselling of everything.
Yeah.
No, Shelly, she's an American Bulldog. And it was, oh, your dog needs the scientific food. No, she doesn't. No, she does. Well, we have it here in the store. That's great. It can stay in your store.
Yeah, the people that have the money for science diet.
Yeah, it's like, but especially, well, guess what? We tried it. She didn't eat it. When she ate it, she broke out even more. She's going back to Iams. That's it.
Well, you know, our dog has allergies. You know, he wants to itch and he wants to scratch. We give him a bath and like special shampoo and stuff. He still does it. You know what I found? And I hate to say this, the less I give him a bath, I can't remember. I think it's been 6 months since I gave that dog a bath. You know what he's not doing? He's not itching and scratching.
Exactly.
And the vet was like, the vet was like, get him something that's like really, you know, good dog food. That's like real meat is the first ingredient. Yeah. So we were buying. Walmart makes a brand that I mean, it's right there with all the Iams and everything else. It was like a 12-pound bag for like $38. and he'd sit there and he wouldn't eat it. We would
Yeah,
pour it in the morning,
exactly.
and it would still be there at night, and then we'd finally eat it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did?
Yep.
I went to the store the other day. I went and bought some Beneful, which is much cheaper, by the way. And I mean, it's still a decent dog food. You know what happens as soon as I pour it in there?
She's on the Beneful and the white.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves it.
Exactly
she loves
what it is.
Mm-hmm. She was on because she needs either the beef or she needs the salmon, because if I give her the chicken, she'll break out. She cannot tolerate the dog food chicken. She welts. I mean, welts all over her. But she doesn't like the salmon one anymore. She's bored with it. She doesn't. I mean, really. I mean, you're going to eat salmon out of a bag. The way that the salmon one smells is just not anything I want to deal with. But she'll eat the one and not break out. See, Shelby, we tried the Blue Buffalo and she still broke out. Paying for Blue Buffalo, not worth it. Definitely not worth it for her. She's a bulldog. Bulldogs are very sensitive, so I mean,
you got to be careful with the Blue Buffalo. I was just looking it up to make sure it was the right brand. There's a compound that they put in it there's a lawsuit getting ready to be introduced. There's a couple hundred dog owners. I can't remember the compound that's in it, but it's been showing to cause kidney failure in dogs. Like, they have these treats right now that are on a recall list, and the same chemicals in it, and it's been causing stomach issues, and dogs have been throwing up blood. It's the same ingredient that they're putting in their dog food.
Wow. See, that's why I'll give her a milk bone, bacon strips. Yep. All that expensive dog food sometimes.
No, I mean, come on. I had a dog. I had a Basset Hound. The average lifespan of a Basset Hound is 12 years. I had a Basset Hound that lived almost 16 years. And we fed this dog just crappy pedigree and table scraps for 15 years.
Yep.
And this dog is cremated and up on my hutch right now.
Yep.
That dog at 15 was still living a full life. His body just finally said, I can't do this anymore.
Well, that's like Leia. Leia's spoiled beyond belief. I'm not even. If she don't want to eat her food, that's because she wants. And somebody will give it to her, not me.
Hey, Jonathan, can you do me a favor? When you talk about my agency page, could you talk about me by my first name and not Phantasmic Chronicles? It's just a legal issue. I got to watch how I advertise it on YouTube.
But this dog, Leia, wrapped around her little finger, man. 100%.
Her fiddle finger.
Like this would get up in there in the middle of the night. Go use the restroom.
Thanks, Jonathan.
And Leia will go and take her spot on the bed. Mm-hmm. And Jess will like wiggle herself around the dog. So I'm like, just move her. Well, she's coming. Just move the dog. Push her. Move her. I was like, here, watch. And I go and scoop her up. I'm like, this is your spot.
Well, Jess is a little smaller than you to scoop up Leia.
Oh, she can do it.
But
she can do it.
But it's funny because my dog Max, we're finally kind of figuring out what he is. We've never really known for sure. We know he's mostly beagle, but we're pretty sure he's what's called a beagle basset hound mix, which I'm cool with. I love basset hounds. I've had 5 of them.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's a beagle or a basset hound, period, they're longer dogs, and he's got the legs of a beagle. So when he gets on our bed, he stretches all the way out. And, you know, we're not small people, you know. And then he rarely sleeps with us. If she goes to bed in the morning, she might take him to bed with her. Or if I'm sleeping at night while she's at work, he'll sleep with me. If not, he sleeps with the kids. But there's times where if he's not feeling good or whatnot, he'll have to come into our bed with us. And this butthead is so spoiled because if mommy's not home, he crawls all the way up her side of the bed and lays down like a human on her pillow and stretches all the way out.
She does the same thing, Tony. I get over work, right? And I hear the grunt of wire or anything. And then I hear another, then there's one more grunt. Then I see her get up on the bed. She's half asleep, hand on the bed. So she's like stumbling on the bed. It's the funniest thing ever. And then she goes up to my pillow. And then you get the plop, and it's just
the plop. Get ready to say the plop.
The plop. The sideways plop. And you know, this is her. We imitate her all the time. So it's, you know, then she's lying there and she's staring at you. She's trying to go back, you know, she's going to go back to sleep, and it's and then she's knocked out.
Our stupid dog has sleep apnea.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he snores like a freight train.
Yeah. So does she, but she has an excuse. I'm still trying to figure out what the other end's excuse is at nighttime.
Oh, she a snorer too?
She snores, and she also smells like a swamp.
Oh, it's a gassy one, huh?
And so, you know, a normal dog will wake up and be like, "What the heck was that?" No, she's just, it happened. That she goes, and then lies right back down.
She wants. There's nothing worse than dog.
She'll do it too, and then goes and then the tail starts wagging. Like, no, don't do that. Don't. Yeah, smells like a New York City subway.
Yeah, it's so funny because my dog, you know, as far as the snoring goes, is hilarious enough as it is. But he's a dreamer too. Now, is Leia a dreamer?
She's a runner.
Yes. Now, our dog will sit there and he'll just kick and kick. Then all of a sudden you'll hear him start going.
Yes.
And, you know,
he's a poofer. We call it the poof. She'll lie there.
The poof.
The twitching, and she'll start before she runs. She twitches. She's like violently though.
Our dog will do it all night long,
and then
twitching,
and then and then you hear from her, like kind of like a truck with the Jake brake on a truck.
Yeah.
What do you hear from her? It's like, what the? It's like, shut up. It's like, we kind of like, we get out, I'll get out there. I'm like, yeah, you getting that squirrel. Get that damn squirrel. Get it. Get the squirrel.
Our dog will start with the whole get his lip. Will start going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We start laughing so hard because it's like you want to wake him up because you want him to stop, but at the same time, I just want to sit there and keep recording. And somewhere, one of these times, I wanted to just send you one of them. I almost did one night, but he stopped just before I could get it on tape because I usually send it off to my buddy and then cancel it.
They always do.
Yeah, because my buddy babysits him when we go away.
This one, she hates dogs. Like dogs. But she prefer to hang out with a cat. Anything else other than a dog, she'll hang out with. The cat's best friend with the 2 cats that we have. The rabbit, best friends.
Huh.
If there's a noise outside, she'll go and run and find the cats. She'll bark at the door, turn around, find the cat in the other room, and come back to the door and continue to bark.
I want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah. Yeah. She's too much. She's too much.
Shelly, your mother had 37 dogs. Please tell me that wasn't all at the same time.
Wow. Wow.
You know, usually when you say 6 dogs, it's not the word she's down to. It's usually she's up to. 37 dogs.
Yeah, wow.
I don't think the 4-pound bag of dog food is going to work out at that house.
It was all at the same time. She said,
wow. I had 3 basset hounds once, and that was enough for me. But then again, having 3 basset hounds is like having 6 dogs. I'm not going to lie. Basset hounds, I mean, they are. I've had several different breeds of dogs, but nothing better than the basset hound.
Basset hounds just have so much energy to burn.
But once they burn it, they don't move for hours. Oh, my male, the one that I had cremated, he would. Yeah, I'm serious. I work night shift, so when I would go to bed, now all my basset hounds were crate trained. Basset hounds love being crated. It's just something in their breed. But when I worked night shift years and years ago, and I was with my ex-wife, when she would go to work for the day, I would bring him in. He was an old man at this time. I'd bring him into the house. He'd go upstairs with me. And she'd get so mad at me all the time because he'd be in there just sprawled out, dirty old dog, sprawled out. And I mean, now this dog was not your typical male dog. He was hung more like a mastiff than a basset hound, if you know what I mean. So he'd be just sprawled out. This dog laid on his back like this when he slept. My wife would come in the afternoon, like lunchtime, to get something, and there he'd be just all sprawled out on her side of the bed. What are you doing with this damn nasty dog on the bed? Be like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with having a couple chickens around, right, Danny? Danny likes those chickens.
Not even getting into that.
No.
I thought we were done with that. I haven't seen that in a while.
I think we are. You know what? The 37 dogs pretty much sounds like a good place to end tonight. I think we've covered I think we've covered the gamut.
Yeah, we have. Especially I got to be up and early to get this one to the vet, so.
And not only that, we've covered it on 2 different channels.
Exactly. So,
breeding shrimp. Is there a difference between breeding shrimp and coconut shrimp? because I'm a big fan of coconut shrimp. Jonathan has 2 fish tank with breeding shrimp. I'm a big fan of coconut shrimp.
But we can get into that one next week.
I used to have sea monkeys. Those are brine shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah. But
my son had sea monkeys once until I had to fumigate the house for fleas once. And I forgot to take the sea monkeys with me. He had a good colony. He had a good colony going too. They had actually bred and everything. Yeah. He was a little sad when we realized that I forgot the goldfish he won at the fair.
Oops.
But the goldfish lasted about 3 more days before he finally went belly up.
Shelly's got a crawfish. That is awesome.
Oh, I love some good crawfish.
Right there.
You got to cook them right, though. You know.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of crawfish up in New York, in the lakes and streams?
No, not at all.
Around here, I mean, you could find them all over the place here. Not big ones. I mean, maybe about that big. I mean, in comparison to my face, probably about as wide as my glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, some good sized ones, but man, not like those New Orleans ones you see.
Oh yeah, no.
Jonathan, thank you for rocking our links tonight. We really appreciate it. Jonathan, you always come
Jonathan. Really, Jonathan, you're the man, right? You're definitely New York water. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with New York water.
It makes the best pizza around.
It does.
A little bit of that rusty water goes a long way.
Right. So we're at like 2.5 hours here. I think that's actually really good.
Total.
Yep. So we good. Anything else you want to add?
Shelly, you have to make sure you go over and subscribe to my channel, so that way when we go live next week, you actually know that we're going live, and we don't have to change channels. Unless you already are and just didn't get a notification. Shelly, we really appreciate that you enjoy coming in here. We really do.
No, you really do. It's great to have you. And even you're great in everything, all of our streams. Like even whenever we go live, like Wednesdays, we'll be live tomorrow night for game night, and then Saturday night for the hangout. And Shelly's in there, and it's always a good time, man. It's always a good time. Jonathan too. I appreciate all of our streams, Jonathan. You guys rock. A lot of people that
we really appreciate it.
So,
well, here's the thing: you guys have several people to choose from, and you choose to come here, and we appreciate it.
Exactly. To see our goofy butts.
All right, I think it's time to hit that music, Danny.
Yep.
Yep, that's my wife texting. She's probably like, yeah, it's the only ringtone I have. It's different than the other ones. Well, I told you that's my wife's favorite ride.
Hey, that's fine. Next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Well, not same channel. It's back over on his. You can give it another try.
Yeah, we'll try it again.
Share it out. Yeah, we'll try it again. What's the worst that happens? Is this again?
Yep.
So, all right, guys. You done? We out of here.
I'm done.